Okay, here's my property. This is the property that I'm renting from the guy who lives here. So that's this isn't the whole property. I'm showing you like the roughly, but this is the rabbit cages. So the lady that used to rent this place, she built this basically this huge rabbit house. The whole thing is rabbit friendly, like from top to bottom, literally from the bottom all the way to the top. And it's completely dry on top. The roof, the galvanized on the roof is transparent, so you can actually grow plants in there. You know, I've been cleaning everything off. Um, this is the property, the land, plus this thing. So I'm like really stoked about it because this thing is huge. I could put 50 rabbit cages in here, one on top of the other. That's good enough for 200 rabbits at a time. Or at least 50 females. I could put 50 females in here to grow out, to give birth to the baby bunnies, and then once the babies are born and they're big enough to get out of the cages, then I could take them, and I could put them in a small enclosure out here if I wanted to. But whatever, one thing at a time. I'm not gonna go industrial rabbit either. I would be really, really, really happy with 10 very good, nice sized rabbit cages in there, with a good 10 females, and then a bunch of other cages below it, or like just to put the babies down or whatever. I'll figure something out. But it's a huge, huge, huge structure for rabbits. It's not small in any way. I could easily make this into industrial. I could put 200 rabbits in here. Yeah, I could put 50 female rabbits in here, which would produce something to the effect of, I think, 1,500 rabbits every 4 months, give or take, babies. And then I could put the babies out here while they grow, get fat, and then wait for them to slaughter if I wanted to go that far. So it's crazy big. I don't think I want to go that far though, because I also want to do plenty of other things like chickens. You see, I don't know if you can see, but there's chickens in my neighbor's yard right there. There's one. Very docile, very polite chickens. They don't seem to mind anything. Oh, cool. There's some new ones that I didn't see before. And there's also a couple of ducks in there, which is just nuts to me. They're the big old chickens, man. That's like a 5-pounder right there. Woo! It's basically a small turkey. That's my neighbor's yard. And so this is mine. I just put up some plastic to keep nosy neighbors out, and that's brought in a chair. I've just got here. This is the first real day since I took the place. Now behind there, what you see, that's the River Marne. The River Marne goes into the Seine, directly into the center heart of Paris. I could take a canoe. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna build a canoe. I've already done that before, but I'm gonna build a canoe, and I'm gonna go home to my mom's place directly from here, on my canoe on the Seine, directly up Paris, and then home, and then off to the ocean if I want to. But one thing at a time. So then that's just the rabbit cage. But then the really cool bit is all of this property here, the green area here from the fence. See, that's the fence. I got about 45 feet from behind me to where that tree trunk is, right? So I'm gonna go to the tree trunk. And it is basically, it's 450 square feet. So it's a lot bigger than you might imagine, especially considering that all I really want to do is grow some tomatoes, a little bit of corn, put 5 beehives right there. So right where that tree trunk is, between that and the fence, I'm going to put I'm going to put 6 beehives right there. And I'm going to have it facing behind me in the other direction. And I'm going to have them face that big old tree right there, because that's where the sun comes up. So that way they wake up, and then the bees just get to roam miles and miles all around this place. And there's just forest everywhere. Beyond that point is a forest, so there's a lot of clean, forage for them, plus all the flowers that I intend to plant around here. I'm going to plant a lot of sunflowers on this other property that's not particularly used or anything. Sunflowers everywhere. I'm just going to put them all over the place, because this is all just weeds. But I'm going to be growing tomatoes, corn. I'm going to put fish, snails, I'm gonna grow snails out here. I'm gonna grow fish. I'm gonna put a fish pond in lengthwise, from the tree trunk all the way back to the rabbit cage. I'm gonna put a really long, very not very wide, maybe like 10 feet wide and like 35 feet long pond, a fish pond. And that's gonna contain thousands of gallons of water that I'm gonna get from the Marne, which is really cool. And then I'm gonna put like trout, catfish, or something in there, maybe carp. I haven't really decided what, but then I could just feed them whatever, insects and fish food and junk. And I can have on top of the fish pond, I can have more plants. I can have as many plants as I want on top of the water. I just put a little bridge on top of the water. And so none of this land is going to go to waste. And as far as the beehives are concerned, where I'm putting it right there, I'm not going to put them on the ground where the rats can get to them. I'm going to put them in elevation. So I'm going to elevate them probably 5-6 feet off the ground. Protect them on both sides with some wood from the wind and the rain and whatnot. Make an apiary. I'm going to make the apiary right here, and most likely, the apiary will be on top of the fish pond. That way, when the bees die, they chuck off the dead bodies from the hive, and it'll fall directly into the water, which is a bonus because then I get to feed the fish. And that's just really a huge bonus. I'll be putting lots of sunflowers and a bunch of other stuff. There'll be snails. There'll be snails growing in certain areas, and I'm gonna buy this tape, electrical tape, that keeps them from leaving a specific enclosure. But I'm going to get French snails because those snails cost just an absolute ton of money. And when you ship them out to Japan, they sell for 12 times more than they do in France. It's really expensive. Snails are really expensive. And, they take care of themselves, just like rabbits and fish and bees and whatnot. So I'm totally stoked. This is the first part. I cleaned out all the weeds. So this is what it looked like before I got here this morning. It was just all weeds and stuff, and like really nasty kind of this kind of weeds, whatever the hell that is. It just gets stuck in your clothes like crazy. You should see me. I look like a porcupine. I look like Sonic the Hedgehog after cutting down all these weeds. But now it's all clean, and it's just the ground weeds and a lot of mud. So it's good because there's nothing here that I want to keep in terms of crops. There's no flowers here that I want to keep. So that's a good thing. That means that when I come in with my rake and with my tools, I can destroy everything that's green here and then just replant like borash, sunflowers, and corn. I could do salads. I could do all my tomatoes. I got so many things to grow. I got tons of peppers. I got aubergine, what do you call it, eggplants. I got loads and loads of plants I want to grow, but I'm not going to grow them in the ground. I'm going to make what do you call them, shelves, kind of like shelves, so that I could grow one on top of the other, because some plants don't really need that much space, and you don't always have to plant them in the ground. And that way I could put fish on the ground, and then on top of the fish I could put plants and so on, that for my garden. And one of these areas I'll keep for the snails or something. And then finally, from this area here all the way through here, all the way up to this area here, that's where I'm gonna build my boat. So where these things like close to the rabbits is where I'm gonna put up my tools. Like my tool shed is gonna be inside the rabbit here. So I'm gonna be building my boat basically right here, right along this area here. And then beyond that area is where I'm gonna put all the plants and the animals and whatnot. So I could just build my canoes here. I could build my small boats here. I can build whatever I want. I mean, I got a lot of space. I could do it lengthwise. And the guy was really saying, like, look, man, you could have from here to all the way to the gate there, all of this, if you want, for an extra $30 a month. So I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, dude. I mean, if you want, you could have a lot more than just this. We also got that whole area there is also for rent at $30 a month. So when I have a little bit more money, I could get a lot more of this space And I can make an even bigger boat if I wanted to. During the winter, like right now it's freezing and raining and stuff, all the plants will be dead, the snails will be hibernating, the bees will be hibernating, the fish will be either eaten or hibernating, you know. So I'll be able to store all of my boats during the winter. I'll be able to store them right here, which is really great. And I'll probably kill off and eat all of the rabbits and the chickens during the winter, rather than having to come here all the time and you know, take care of the animals. I'm going to kill them and eat them. Fuck them, kill them and eat them. So yeah, it's pretty great. And then there's the Marne, which is the river right there. I'm not kidding. As soon as it's 4 o'clock, as soon as I finish the boat, I could just walk it right there. It's like not even 10, maybe 30, 40 feet from here. Right through the gate right there, and I'm in the Marne. It's amazing. There's a riverbank not too far away where I know there's catfish, and like really big catfish and eels and shit. So it's just an amazing piece of property, you know. And that's a horse place to put a horse if I really wanted a donkey or a horse. Not that I do, but if I wanted one, I could have one. But I'm not in the mood for a girlfriend right now, so you know, that'll be that. Nice tree, and the whole place is really lovely. It's the countryside out here, you know. On the opposite side of the Marne, there's not buildings, there's just countryside, there's just fields of nothing, and then there's a forest. So it's just an amazing place. I'm extremely happy with it. This enclosure, the rabbit enclosure alone, I'm not even kidding, if I wanted to make a go of it, for 6 months I could probably produce over 2,000 rabbits by keeping the females in here, and then when the babies get a little bit too big, I could bring the babies out here, put them in enclosures until they get big enough to slaughter and sell. And I'm like, 2,000 rabbits is no joke. That's $20,000 on the closed loop market. It's $20,000 worth of rabbit meat alone, just the meat, not even the furs. The furs are only worth like, I think, $1.50 a fur, so it's not really that valuable. But the meat is worth 10 euros per rabbit, or it's 10 euros a pound or something like that. And it depends, you know. It depends on who you're selling. It depends on what kind of rabbit you're looking at. I'm gonna get these big old monster New Zealand whites that grow up to like 5 or 6 pounds within 6 months. So that's a big ass rabbit. I mean, that's a lot of meat, you know. You could probably, you know, 30, 40 grand worth of meat right there. If I go crazy. If I go nuts during the summer. But we'll see, one thing at a time. You know, I'm going to start off with a few rabbits, and we'll see how it goes from there. All right, that's about it. Thanks for watching.